Law. By Charles Hoyfort. Part 1, Chapter 11a. Science is very much like the Civil War in the United States of America. No matter which side won, it would have been an American victory. By science, I mean conventionalization of alleged knowledge. It, or maybe she, acts to maintain itself, or whatever, against further enlightenment, or alleged enlightenment, but when giving in, there is not surrender, but partnership, and something that had been bitterly fought then becomes another factor in its, or her, prestige. So, 70 years ago, no matter whether evolutionists or anti-evolutionists had won, it would have been a big, scientific victory anyway. No wonder so many of us are humbled by a reputation that can't lose anyway. Science is a maw, or a headless and limbless stomach, an amoeba-like gut that maintains itself by incorporating the assimilable and rejecting the indigestible. There are whirlwinds and waterspouts, and it seems acceptable that there have been rare occurrences of faintly luminous owls. Then by a process of sorting over data, rejecting the objectionable, and taking in the desirable, science saves itself great pains, because a bellyache is something that is only a gut in torment. So, with elementary treatments, a share of living things can always be made to assimilate with the whirlwind explanation, and a brilliant, electric thing can be toned down digestibly. In extreme cases there is a secretion of fishmongers or gamekeepers. In some cases of obstinate unassimilableness, it is supposed to be necessary to swat a little girl. But I doubt the necessity, because there is in human beings such a fondness, or sometimes such a passion, for confessing, that sooner or later somebody will come forward with almost any desired confession. Sometimes, from time to time, half a dozen persons confess to having committed the same murder. The police pay scarcely any attention anymore to a new confession in the matter of the Hall murder in New Jersey. There was a case in an English police court of a man who had given himself up as a deserter from the army. But a policeman testified that this was his fifth or sixth confession, and that he had never been in the army. The man admitted the charge. But, said he, I have something else that I wish to confess. I'll hear no more of your confessions. 6 months, said the magistrate. In some cases the incentive for false confessions is not obvious, but in others it is obviously to come out of one's pale, yellow glow, and be brilliant in limelight. There have been cases not quite of confessions, but of somebody attributing to himself unexplained occurrences, or taking advantage of them for various kinds of profit. I accept that if explorers from somewhere else should visit the Earth, and if their vessels, or the lights of their vessels, should be seen by millions of the inhabitants of this Earth, the data would soon be conventionalized. If beings, like human beings, from somewhere else, should land upon this Earth, near New York, and parade up Broadway, and then sail away, somebody, a year or so later, would confess that it had been a hoax by him and some companions, who had dressed up for their parts, and had jabbered, as they thought extramundanians should jabber. New Yorkers would say that from the first they had suspected something wrong. Who ever heard of distinguished foreigners coming to New York, and not trying to borrow something, or not coinciding with propaganda in newspapers?